Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Claire. I'm an ASMR. I'm not self-conscious about my hair today because I tried German pigtails and then gave up. I just did regular pigtails and it's still not sitting right. Anyway, speaking of staring at yourself in the viewfinder, I thought that I would do a narcissism test today. And I don't know how I got this idea. It just hit me yesterday. And then I just got really excited about the idea of doing a narcissist test. So let's go for it. Before we get into it, I should say please subscribe to the channel if you're new. If you're not new, please consider supporting the channel on Patreon. It's how I keep these shenanigans going, keep the lights on. Also, I have merch. Link is down in the description. Can never say that. Now that I've got my self-promotion out of the way, let's see my narcissist. Narcissism is a personality trait generally conceived of as excessive self-love. It is based on the definition of narcissistic personality disorder found in the blah, blah, blah. Okay, whatever. It's not diagnostic. It's a bit of crack, basically. The test consists of 40 pairs of statements. For each pair, you should select the one that you feel best reflects your personality. Let's fucking go. I have a natural talent for influencing people. I am not good at influencing people. I think I have a natural talent for influencing people, and I don't mean just on the internet. A lot of my friends, for example, have taken my recommendations on what sports kit to get. That's such a specifically to me example. Modesty doesn't become me. I'm essentially a modest person. Ooh, I'm not the opposite of modest, if you know what I mean, but I'm at the same time I'm like realistically modest. That's a really hard one. I'm really hard on myself, but I don't know if that's like modesty. I'm just gonna say modesty doesn't become me. Like, you can't really, as a stand-up comedian, being like, I'm so modest. I would do almost anything on a dare, or I tend to be a fairly cautious person. The older I get, the less I would do dares. But when I was younger, oh, the words "I dare you" were dangerous around me. When people compliment me, I sometimes get embarrassed. I know that I'm good because everybody keeps telling me so. This may surprise you to hear, but when people compliment me, I sometimes get embarrassed. The thought of ruling the world frightens the hell out of me. If I ruled the world, it would be a better place. So I do think that if I ruled the world, it would be a better place. But I also think I would rather die. Like, I worked in student politics and it turned me off any sort of politics thing ever. I would rather die. So the thought of ruling the world frightens the hell out of me. I can usually talk my way out of anything, or I try to accept the consequences of my behaviour. I try to accept the consequences of my behaviour. I prefer to blend in with the crowd. I like to be the centre of attention. This is hard, because I do like to be the centre of attention, obviously. Like, my wedding day was fucking brilliant. And I have a YouTube channel. At the same time, I like to blend in with the crowd, especially if I'm in a group of people maybe that I don't know that well. I think I more identify with I prefer to blend in with the crowd, which I know lots of people are not going to believe. I will be a success. I am not too concerned about success. I used to be incredibly worried about being successful, and I used to be like a career woman, but I realized that didn't make me happy. And long story short, I now make YouTube videos full time. So I'm not too concerned about success. I am no better or worse than most people, or I think I am a special person. I am no better or worse than most people. I am not sure if I would make a good leader. I see myself as a good leader. So I do see myself as a good leader. I lecture an online content creation class. I have coached tag rugby in the past. I am a good leader. I'm definitely not the best leader, but I'm a good leader. So I see myself as a good leader. I am assertive. I wish I were more assertive. I certainly do not wish I was more assertive. I am assertive, and that has bitten me in the arse a lot over the years. I think my mum taught me to kind of basically never take any shit, and that has gotten me in an awful lot of shit over the years, because especially like as a young person starting out in an industry, or as a woman, you actually do have to take some shit, and people get really upset when you don't. So I am assertive. Frankly, I wish I was a little bit less assertive. For the most part, I choose not to engage, but when I do engage, watch out. I like to have authority over people. I don't mind following orders. I don't have to justify this one. Okay. I find it easy to manipulate people. I don't like it when I find myself manipulating people. Okay. Here's the real tea. I read people really well. So, yeah, okay, I find it easy to manipulate people. I insist upon getting the respect that is due to me. I usually get the respect that I deserve. I don't particularly like to show off my body. I like to show off my body. I do not like to show off my body. I have never liked to show off my body. I do love clothes and I do love to match. My choker matches my jumper. You know what? Like, I love that sort of attention to detail. So no, I don't particularly like to show off my body. I can read people like a book. People are sometimes hard to understand. I can read people like a book. Maybe that's more what I was getting at. Now, you see, I want to go back to the manipulate question now because I feel like people are going to judge me for the answer. And that's not a true taking of the test, Claire. Leave the answer. If I feel competent, I am willing to take responsibility for making decisions. I like to take responsibility for making decisions. Oh, I like to take responsibility for making decisions. I make decisions all the time. I just want to be reasonably happy. I want to amount to something in the eyes of the world. No, I just want to be reasonably happy. My body is nothing special. I like to look at my body. I don't think my body is nothing special, but I'm going to pick it because I identify with that more than the other option. I try not to be a show-off. I will usually show off if I get the chance. I do try not to show off, but I absolutely will show off if I get the chance. So I'm going to say I will usually show off if I get the chance. I always know what I'm doing. Sometimes I'm not sure of what I'm doing. Sometimes I'm not sure of what I'm doing. I sometimes depend on people to get things done. I rarely depend on anyone else to get things done. I rarely depend on anyone else because it annoys me. Sometimes I tell good stories. Everybody likes to hear my stories. Sometimes I tell good stories. Everybody does not like to hear my stories. Sometimes me and Alex tell the same story and we tell it differently and we tell it a million times as well. And then we correct each other on it. If I had to guess, I would say that is super fucking annoying. I expect a great deal from other people. I like to do things for other people. I like to do things for other people. I will never be satisfied until I get all that I deserve. I take my satisfactions as they come. I take my satisfactions as they come. Nice. Compliments embarrass me, or I like to be complimented. Oh, this one's hard. Okay, I'm 50-50 on this one. Compliments do embarrass me. I also do like them. I'm going to go, I like to be complimented. Because what? It feels really good if someone's like, your nails are gorgeous, your hair is nice. Actually, I wear a leather jacket that I wore on my wedding day an awful lot. And every time I wear it, somebody compliments me on it. It makes me feel amazing. And I'm like, thanks, it's my wedding leather jacket. So I like to be complimented. I have a strong will to power. What? Power for its own sake doesn't interest me. Yeah, power for its own sake doesn't interest me. I don't care about new fads and fashions. I like to start new fads and fashions. I feel like I do follow fashion, whether on purpose or not, because I see other people wearing stuff and then I want to wear it. But I also have my personal favorites that I stick to. I am trying the middle part because Gen Z said it's cooler. I do think that I hate it and then I'm going to go back to my side part. I won't give up my skinny jeans like over my dead body. So I'm going to say I don't care about new fads and fashions. I like to look at myself in the mirror. I'm not particularly interested in looking at myself in the mirror. So I like to look at myself in the mirror. And it's probably one of my worst habits. It might be one of the things that I like least about myself. I really like to be the center of attention. It makes me uncomfortable to be the center of attention. This is the same fucking question, is it not? I'm going to say I really like to be the center of attention because it doesn't make me uncomfortable at all. I can live my life in any way that I want to. People can't always live their lives in terms of what they want. Yeah, people can't always live their life in terms of what they want. Yeah, I would say people can't always live their lives in terms of what they want, because if I could live my life in terms of what I want, I would just sleep all day, every day, and play sport and eat pasta. Just pasta all the time, pasta and wine. Being an authority doesn't mean that much to me. People always seem to recognize my authority. So I agree with both of these. I'm going to say people always seem to recognize my authority. I would prefer to be a leader. It makes little difference to me whether I am a leader or not. That one's pretty tight, to be honest. But I'm going to say it makes little difference to me whether I'm a leader or not. I am going to be a great person, or I hope I am going to be successful. Out of those two, I prefer I am going to be a great person. Although I would like if it said I actively try to be a good person. That is what I would most identify with. But yeah, hopefully, look, I am going to be a great person. Hopefully I'm already not a bad person. People sometimes believe what I tell them. I can make anybody believe anything I want them to. No, people sometimes believe what I tell them. I can make anyone believe anything I want them to. Sounds a bit bananas. I am a born leader, and leadership is a quality that takes a long time to develop. So leadership is a quality that takes a long time to develop. And I think captaining teams in sport has taught me an awful lot about leadership. Funnily enough, way more than work has. Crazy. I wish somebody would someday write my biography. I don't like people to pry into my life for any reason. This is such a weird one because, yeah, a couple of years ago I would have been like, I want somebody to write my biography. And now I'm like, no, I don't want someone like writing, she was born under a wandering star. This is an example of one that where the two different sentences are too far apart for me. So I don't wish that somebody would one day write my biography. However, I don't think I go as far as saying that I don't like people to pry into my life for any reason. Like I'm a vlogger, so I want to share my life. I guess where I land on that is I want to share as much as I want to share, and I wouldn't want people prying into the stuff I don't want to share. I'm going to say I don't like people to pry into my life for any reason, despite the fact that I'm a vlogger. I get upset when people don't notice how I look when I go out in public. I don't mind blending into the crowd when I go out in public. I don't mind blending into the crowd. I am more capable than other people. There is a lot that I can learn from other people. Again, these two are not mutually exclusive. I am more capable than a lot of other people. But there is a lot that I can learn from other people is the one I most identify with. I am much like everybody else, or I am an extraordinary person. My God, I am much like everybody else. Continue. You've completed the personality test. Just a few optional questions before your results. Were your answers accurate and can they be used in our research? I love how the question is, were your answers accurate and can they be used in our research? So it's like, if you say no, you're saying your answers weren't accurate. These are your results on the Narcissistic Personality Inventory. Your score is 14 out of 40. Higher scores indicate greater levels of narcissism. That's not that high, is it? Your score was higher than 58.7% of the sample. The people who have found this online test are probably not that representative of the general population, though, so the averages from a few other groups are tabled below. US university graduates are 15.6, US adults are 15.3, and US celebrities are 17.8. Okay, so I'm actually lower than US university undergraduates. In addition to the primary score, investigation into the structure of the MPI has found that there are 7 different facets. Your scores for each are graphed below. So authority, I'm about halfway. Self-sufficiency, I'm about halfway. Superiority, I'm like not even a quarter of the way. Exhibitionism, almost halfway. Exploitativeness, such a hard word to say, I'm like a third of the way. Vanity, I'm like a third of the way. And entitlement is a 0. Oh, hell yeah. Well, well, well. Would you look at that? 14 out of 40. I'm more of a narcissist than 58.7% of people who took this test, but I'm less of a narcissist than US university undergraduates in 1988. Oh. I'm just going to put up my hood because my bumpy hair is really annoying me. And look, you know I'm a narcissist now, so this shouldn't surprise you. I'm more narcissistic than 58.7% of people that took this specific test online, but I'm less narcissistic than US university undergraduates in 1988. So yeah, eat that. Please subscribe to my channel. Please consider supporting the channel on Patreon. If you're not in a position to support me on Patreon, I do have a Ko-fi where you can buy my drinking game or buy me a pint to say you like the videos. And I'll be making good use of them because the Irish pubs are going to open soon. Did you know that I'm Irish? If you like this video, you might like the one where I took an ADHD test, or the one where I took the D&D chaotic neutral etc. test. Or you might like any of my other videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Slán, slán.